Hi there, my name is Gabriel, and today we're going to be looking at an Excel question. And let's see our first question here without wasting any time. So they're saying a stock ST is currently priced at £100. Okay. And they say a put option on ST with a maturity of 5 years and a strike price of 80 is currently priced at 4.71. I also tell you that the risk-free force of interest is 4% per annum. Now they're saying these parameters are provided in the spreadsheet named CM2 question 1. Okay, now the first question they're asking you, they're saying find the implied volatility of ST. So do you agree with me that that is your sigma? Okay, let's go to our spreadsheet and see what is happening. Now, when you look at your spreadsheet, you see share prices at time 5 and you see probability as well. You don't have to worry about that because they didn't talk about that. Now, there is the Black-Scholes calculator here. Now, I want to warn you with this calculator because they usually give you this calculator. Now, they're saying you may copy and paste this calculator into your working sheet and use it if you wish. Now, I want to warn you about this calculator. When this calculator is given in your exam, they usually give it. They gave it in the exemplar paper. They gave it in the April paper. So when this calculator is given, the first thing I want you to do is to check what it is calculating, what it is doing. So just to substitute random numbers, so I'm going to put 1, and I'm going to put 3, I'm going to put 4, I'm going to put 5, then I'm going to put 6. These here are my inputs. The share price, the strike price, maturity, risk-free rate, and volatility are my input. Now, if I look down, okay, I got, so what this calculator is actually giving me, it's giving me the value of the put option, the price, and it's giving me the value of the call option. Okay, you can see they put everything for you here. Okay, so you don't have to worry. So this calculator will give you both the value of the put option and the value of the call option. And you can also find other unknown parameters. Now let's answer the question. In the question, they're looking for volatility. Now, you are given in the question the share price to be 100. So that is what I'm going to substitute. I'm going to come here and put 100. You are given the strike price in the question to be 80. Okay, so that is what I am going to put here. I'm going to put 80, and we are given maturity of 5 years. I'm going to put 5 here, and we are given the risk-free rate to be 4%. Luckily for me, 4% is what I've got here, and I'm looking for volatility. Now I'm going in place of volatility, I'm going to substitute, okay, any value, and I'm going to goal seek volatility. Okay, now if you look here, you are given the price of the put option. Okay, this is a put option. You are given the price of the put option to be 4.71. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here, then say here, or in fact, let me do this. I want the put option to be 4.71 and see the corresponding volatility. So I'm going to use goal seek. So I come to data, then I go to what if analysis, then I say goal seek. Okay, then I want to set cell, I want to set this cell here, which is the value of the put option, to be equal to 4.71. Okay, and I want to change. My unknown is this term here, the volatility. And I'm going to press OK. And there I see, okay, I'm going to press OK here so that my answer will remain in my screen. And there I see my volatility of 23%. So I'm going to come in this tab, which is part 1 of the question, and I'm going to put 23%. Now, you can't just put 23% there. You need to show your examiner your parameters you substituted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy my workings here in this Black Scholes calculator. Okay, so I'm going to copy. So I'm going to copy, then I'm going to come here, then paste everything. Now I won't just paste. I'm going to go to paste special, and I'm going to paste formulas. Okay, I'm going to paste formulas because I need that, and I'm going to press OK. Okay, and there you see my workings laid out nicely for the examiner to see my calculations. Okay, so that is your part 1 of the question. Now, part 2 of the question, they're saying a call option is also available on the same stock with the same term to maturity, but now we've got a strike price of 150. Calculate the value of the call option at time 0. Well, do you agree with me that that is not a problem, because you come here again, okay? So you're going to come here. Now I want the value of the call option. My share price is still 100, but my strike price is now 150. So I'm going to substitute that. My maturity is 5. The risk-free rate is 4%. Now, because the examiner said on the same stock, your volatility will be the same. Okay, so your volatility will still be 23%. The only thing that is changing here is your strike price. Okay, let's go and see. Now, do you agree with me that I don't need to substitute anything? I can code here the price of the call option the examiner is looking for. So I'm going to go to tab 2 and substitute the value of the call option, which is 12.933. Okay, 12.933. But I need to paste these parameters so that I can show the examiner my workings. Okay, so I'm going to come here, copy this calculation here. That's what I'm doing. Oh gosh, you see what is happening here now. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to come here and paste my solution. I go to special paste, then I'm pasting formulas. Okay, then I press OK, and there are my workings laid out nicely for the examiner. Okay, I want to extend this here. Okay, I see the value of the call option is 12.933. Let's look at the third part of the question. Now they're saying the share price at time 5, which is at maturity. Please, this is very important, which is at time big T, is assumed to take range of integer values with a set of probabilities as listed in the spreadsheet. So if you go in your spreadsheet, you see here the share prices at time 5 with the corresponding probabilities. Now, the examiner is saying calculate the put and call option payoffs for each integer value of the share price. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. So that is part 3 of the question. So I come here. Now they want the payoff. Now, one of the disadvantages in this paper is that you don't have time to think. You must really know your work very, very well, such that you're just performing calculation. Okay, you're not. So read the question carefully and solve. We don't have time to think. Okay, now you'll recall the payoff of the call option and the payoff of the put option. Now for the call option, what are we going to have? I'm going to press equal to, and you recall the payoff of the call option is the maximum of ST for each value of ST given here, minus the strike price, which is 150, or it will be 0. Then I close my bracket. So this formula here will pick up every value of ST here and subtract 180. It will give the maximum to be this, okay, or it will give the maximum between one of these. Okay, I'm going to press enter, and I see that dash here, don't panic, means 0. I'm going to drag it down, okay, all the way to a share price of 200. Then, okay, I just want to check something here. Seems like I made a mistake. My strike price for the call option was 150. Okay, so let me quickly correct that. The strike price was 150. Okay, so let me drag the correct formula down. And I'm going to have this, okay? And you remember the payoff of the put option is equal to the maximum of the strike price, which was 80, minus your share price, which will be this. So the maximum of this and 0. So this formula will pick the maximum. If the maximum is 80 minus the share price, it will pick that value and put it. If the maximum is 0, it will pick that value and show it to you here. Okay, so I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to drag this all the way down. Okay, and there I am. The dash here means that my payoff is 0. So these are my payoff. Okay, so now I've answered the question. So the question says calculate the put and call option payoff for each of the integer values. Now they continue. Now this is quite a long question and a good one because it gets you to practice different sections in one question. Now they're saying an investor has £100 available to invest at time 0 in a combination of stock and 2 options. He invests 0.5 unit of stock, 1 put option, and 3.5 call options. The investor make decision based on the log utility function. So the utility of wealth X is, so X is actually your wealth. So you're going to have the natural log of X for values of X greater than 0, or you're going to have 0 for X less than or equal to 0. Now, the part IVA says calculate the value. Okay, that word there is extremely important. The value of the investor's portfolio at time 5, which is at maturity, for each of the possible stock prices. Okay, let me go to my spreadsheet here. So this is part IV. Now, the value of the investor, do you agree with me that will be made up of shares, all right, the call option and the put option. Okay, so I'm going to start off by writing down my unit here. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Like I said, the value will be made up of stock, the put option, and the call option. So I'm going to put them here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight this here and move it. Okay. And I'm going to highlight this table here. Okay. And I'm going to move this so that I can put the payoffs so that it will be easy for me to calculate the values. Okay. I'm going to, okay. So I'm just moving this here, and here I'm going to paste. Okay, what did they start with here? The call option payoff. So I'm going to have CT payoff, and I'm going to have PT payoff here. Okay, then I'll put my values. I'll copy my values. Okay, I'll copy these values here. Okay, so I press copy, then I come here, then I'm going to paste this, but I need to press paste special. Okay, because I want everything, even the formulas. Okay, I'm going to press OK, and there are my payoffs. Okay, now I'm going to put units here. You will see now why I'm doing that. Remember, my portfolio has got stock. It has got the put option. Oh gosh, that's the wrong spelling. And it has got a call option. Okay. So I've got 0.5 of stock. I've got 1 unit for a put option. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not copying the wrong thing. And I've got 3.5 for the call option. Okay, now we're looking at the value of the investor portfolio at time 5, at maturity. So how are we going to do this calculation? So the total value will be equal to, so you're going to press equal to, will be your unit of shares, okay, multiplied by the share price. Okay, I'm going to close that bracket, plus your unit of the put option. I'm holding 1 unit, multiplied by the payoff of the put option, because we are at maturity. We are at time 5. So I'm going to multiply this with the payoff of the put option, and there I'm going to add the number of units of the call option, and I'm going to multiply this by the payoff, which will be paid at maturity, because we want the value at maturity. So I need to multiply this by the payoff of the call option. Now you've got to be a little bit careful here now, because I want to lock these values. I want, when I drag this down, I want to keep the value of 0.5. I want to keep the value of 1, and I want to keep the value of 3.5. So I'm going to use the $sign to lock this. So I'm going to put the dollar here, here. Well, you have to put it once, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to put a dollar here. I'm going to put the dollar here. I'm going to put the dollar here, and I'm going to put the dollar here. So by putting this dollar, I'm locking these values here, going down. Okay. So what will be the total value? So I press enter there, and I drag it down. Okay. So this is my total value at, I'm going to have a session on this, don't worry, because I will waste time. Okay, so these are my values. I wanted to explain something here, because if you put a dollar only in your number, okay, which is this here, that means you are locking your values going down. But if you put a dollar here, which is just next to your letter, that means you are locking your values going across. And if you put a dollar, that means you're locking them going across and you're locking them going down. But in this case, we are going down only. So we don't have to do that. I'm going to have a session on this. Okay, so they are my values. Okay, now let's see what the question is saying. Now, part B says calculate the utility of the investor's portfolio at time 5 for each possible stock prices. Now, I want the utility, and the utility is the natural log of wealth for values of x greater than 0. Now, if you look at this table here, none of the values are less than 0. So none of the investors' wealth is less than 0. So I don't have to worry about this part here for now. Okay, you will see later I will change it for some reasons. I will explain. Okay, so now I am actually going to have the natural log of, so I'm looking for my wealth now, the natural log of this value here. Okay, I'm going to close that bracket and I'm going to drag this down. Okay, these are my values. Okay, so this is my utility. So the examiner says calculate the utility of the investor's portfolio at time 5 for each possible stock price. Yes, so it's just the natural log of wealth, X, because that is how your utility was defined. Now let's look at the next question. The next question says calculate the expected utility of the investor's portfolio at time 5 to 4 decimal places. Now they are looking for, now I discussed this in detail in my revision videos. Okay, the expected utility, remember I said to you, remember from your basic statistics, when I'm looking for the expected value, it will be value times probability. Value times probability. Value times probability, and you'll be adding all of those. So value times probability plus value times probabilities plus value times probability. So here I'm looking for the expected utility. So I'm going to have utility times probability plus utility times probability plus utility times probability. So let us go and do that. Obviously, I don't need to be explaining these kinds of things because I did explain them in my revision videos, but because I'm a good person, I'm doing it. So I need my probabilities here. So the probabilities, unfortunately, they are given here on your parameters. So I have to copy these, okay, and paste them there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come here and paste my probabilities. Now, no formula was used when they wrote down this probability, so I'm going to paste the values, okay, which is what is given there. So there I have them. Okay, now remember I'm looking for the expected utility. So from a basic, utility times probability plus utility times probability. So what am I going to have then? So I need my product. So I'm going to have utility times probability. Okay, going down. I need to do that for all utility values given here. And I'm going to drag this down. Okay. Now I am ready to calculate my expected value because the expected value will just be the sum of this product here. So I'm going to have the sum of from here going down. Okay, so I'm going to drag this whole thing. Oh gosh. I'm going to drag this. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drag this whole thing and close my bracket. and there is my expected utility. So 4.2722. Let's look at part V of the question. Now, this part here is a very special part. Now, they're saying the investor now decide to not hold any unit of stock, but instead invest the whole £100 only in the two options. Now, they're saying calculate to 4 decimal places the number of unit of each option that the investor should hold to maximize. So that is very important. His expected utility of wealth at time 5. Now, bad news for you. I won't do this question here. This question here will be available in my online learning platform. That because I think this question is very special, okay? And only special people deserve to know what is happening here. Now I will show you in my online platform, I will show you how to do this calculation without guessing any value, okay? I will show you how to do this calculation without wasting time and guessing values. And I will show you how to calculate your maximum expected utility. I'm just going to explain everything nice. So I'm going to show you how to maximize in Excel, how to minimize in Excel, what you will be looking for. I won't do this question here because this video here will be up on YouTube. I'm sorry, I want to do it. You have to go to my online platform in order to see how we do this question. Okay, let's look at our last question here. Now the last question here, they say plot a chart based on your solution in part V, okay, of the investor's utility at time 5 against the share price at that time. Comment on the shape of the chart and suggest how the investor could obtain a flatter utility. Now, in order to plot this chart here, okay, in order to plot the chart the examiner wants, you need the utility, okay, and the share prices for corresponding to the maximum expected utility. But unfortunately, we didn't do that. So I need the share prices corresponding to the utility for the maximum expected utility. So I didn't do that. So I decided to copy these values here because I did this earlier. Okay, so I did this earlier. So this is these are the values I'm going to plot. So I can see my share price will be in my x-axis and my utility function will be in my y-axis. So I'm going to highlight this data here. So there I'm highlighting it. Okay. Then I'm going to go to insert, which is here. Okay. Oh gosh, what is happening here? So I'm going to go to insert, then let me go up so that my graph will be up there. And I'm going to click recommended chart here. And I can see the different curves recommended. So this one looks sensible to me. So I'm going to press OK there. And there is my chart. Now don't leave this chart like this, because you will lose marks. You need to give the chart title, you need to label your X's. So I'm going to press this button here and I'm going to click X's at title. Okay, then on my axis I have the share prices. So I'm going to write that here. And on my y-axis, I have the utility. Okay, so I'm going to write that here. Okay, so I'm going to give this a title. I'm going to say graph of utility versus share prices. Okay, this is my graph. Looks beautiful, you see. Okay, now I'm done. This is my graph. Now if you look at the question, they also say comment on the shape of the chart and suggest how an investor could obtain a flatter utility curve. So I'm going to do that now. Now, any sensible comments are given marks. So here it will be the answer. Here is the possible answer I took from the exam report. So the chart shows a zero utility for large range of share prices. This is because the investor is only holding long position in the two options. The investor could achieve, remember they also asked you how the investor could achieve a flatter curve. So the investor could achieve a flatter curve by also holding some of the stock or by holding short position in some of the call options. Okay, and there is your question done. You can see it's not a very demanding one. This question here, which is, I think, was the one which was extremely demanding and required some advanced techniques, will be available in my online platform. Just something here which I think I might have confused a lot of people there. You know, when I was locking my values here, if I put, okay, I'm going to have a short video on this because I'm going to whine, talk and talk forever. Okay, so it was great being with you. I wish you all the best with your exam revision. Bye-bye.